is this? I don't know. It's me. It's Amid the Ruins. It's a guy who makes Dyer wave music. It's Amid the Ruins. Dyer wave music. What I've talked about in probably 100 articles at Jay's Analysis is the implementation of the AI smart grid and the giant smart cities, which is what IBM talks about publicly building. And that's where we're going, and that's what I think we have to be really concerned about. So all of these tensions, they are part of a long-term strategy to basically get everybody moved into mega cities. They'll be forced off of land and so forth for environmental reasons, and basically concocted and invented environmental nonsense. Then you'll be stuck in some hellhole mega city in a, basically a carton size apart. Welcome. It's your favorite Mulder and Scully replacement duo, Jay and Jamie Dyer. And I want to mention briefly what the whole Randonautica thing was, because some people were really confused, and people were saying that we didn't help that girl out who was in a in a bind. Number one, so it's Tennessee, and people in Tennessee are armed, and you can't just go onto somebody's property, which it was. We pulled into somebody's parking area. Don't know whose parking area it was because it's out in the middle of nowhere, but you can't just meddle up in people's business on their private property in Tennessee, especially out in the sticks. So it was a situation where, as Jamie could, I think, back up, the girl didn't seem to be in dire straits. She seemed to be being dropped off.
Yeah. Nobody was in an emergency. It didn't look like. It was just weird.
It was just odd.
Did you learn your lesson? Did you get creeped out too much, or?
I wasn't creeped out too much. As I was telling people, I'm not afraid of an app. I mean, we tested it out. We tested it out not near where we live. So, we're not going to be gang stalked or any of this nonsense that people say, this is a gang stalking app, dude. They got you now. Like they don't already have you. Have you ever called 911? Do you know if you're, we've had to do it a couple times for a minor wreck and a minor injury. Even if you have your GPS off, the police know where you are. They can come get you and find you automatically. 911, FEMA, Fusion stuff. So there isn't any app that, does something that FEMA and the Fusion centers don't already do. So that's why I wasn't afraid of this app and its spying capabilities. I mean, all of the cell phone stuff is spying. So anyway, what do you think?
If you do want to try it, be careful. Make sure you go with
yeah, you don't know protection. Where you're going to
get. You don't want to do this alone as a female, probably.
It's more like a teenage Final Destination type of thing. It's for teens to go out and, find a cow skull and be like, dude, we were thinking about death and we found a cow skull, bro. It's a sign from the universe.
It took me to a graveyard, and I know someone who died.
You're right. Yeah. Like, who doesn't, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, if you want to support the show, do so via the Super Chats. We're going to be covering a host, as I said, of alien movies since it is Alien January.
They're coming. The aliens are coming. Are you ready?
They're coming to America.
I'm ready, because I've been saying this. And I told everyone who doesn't believe me about anything, I said, next will be the aliens, and they all laughed so hard.
After the damn Corvid, the Karunka, comes the aliens.
Maybe they can save us. I just watched Katy Perry's new video today.
I'm sorry.
It was about the blue aliens saving Earth by unplugging the internet.
Well, that was the thing about the Donald months ago that Corey Good and David Wilcock had assured us that the blue avian chicken aliens have made a deal to support Trump. So
yeah,
we can all.
These were blue in her video. They were the blue
I know,
aliens.
of course. What else would they be? They're the blue avians that. Right.
Yeah. The Pleiadians are gonna say that.
Who doesn't believe that? I mean, that's bullshit, by the way, people. If you didn't know, that's bullshit. There's no blue avian aliens. There are a lot of weird things going on with aliens, though. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to cover some of the big ones. We're going to start with some of the goofier installments in our list, like the 1988 or 9 Communion, starring Christopher Walken. Wow. Right? Aliens. Wow. Yeah.
Sing.
And dancing all over the room.
Mm-hmm.
The aliens. Wow.
My gosh,
I still can't get my Christopher Walken right.
Movie.
Yeah, this movie's terrible, but
let's talk about it.
So start us off. Go ahead.
Music by Eric Clapton. I didn't know he was friends with band of Whitley Strieber. Interesting.
Maybe, I don't know, but Eric is from the Laurel Canyon scene, so we can begin to see why there would be a connection to this alien psychological operation, because a lot of the people who are going to be promoting alien crap are going to be promoting the same types of narratives that you see coming out of the 60s counterculture. In fact, I know we're a little bit behind, but I'm finishing up. Where is it at? I thought I brought it in. I'm finishing up the Tibetan Journey of the Dead book from Leary, and in Leary's book, I just had it in my hand. Where'd it go?
Is it in the movie?
I don't know. Leary is talking about the similarities between the gods and the entities that teach you the mysteries of the Darwinian mythos. I'm not joking. He literally says it's an initiation into Darwinism when you go through the bardos of the Tibetan Book of the Dead on your acid trip. Okay. And that's relevant here because we are talking about communion. Whitley Strieber, I've never talked to Whitley Strieber, I don't know Whitley Strieber, but he intentionally uses religious language, communion, right? It's another type of communion evoking the idea of biblical communion, right? The bread and the wine transformed into the body, blood, and deity of Christ.
Yeah, this is Whitley Strieber's autobiographical kind of experience, and so when you're watching the Christopher Walken character, this is how Whitley Strieber sees himself, and I just thought that was so goofy, the way that he thinks that he is. Well, he's an author, and things are going wrong. He's like an insecure writer, and he wants to write the great American novel, right?
I like how Christopher Walken dances everywhere. He just dances all the time like Leland.
Yeah.
And he's doing this thing here where you dance and you do, hey, whoa, I'm doing this thing, and with the thing, and wow. That's what he just.
So zany.
Like, he is a wacky, zany character.
He wants to write the
and he just novel. Sort of spins around the whole movie doing this wacky, zany thing.
Yeah. So they go to their cabin in the woods. Right.
Yes, he has a cabin in the woods, and Whitley takes these. It looks like Uri Geller and some Jewish woman up to this cabin in the woods. And they see lights at night. And from Whitley's vantage point, the story is that the little goblin creatures came in and touched his third eye.
Yes.
And everybody else was in sleep paralysis and saw lights, supposedly.
Well, he sees the alien behind the dresser, and everybody else in the cabin just sees like lights, but he sees what's really there.
Yeah, but it touches his third eye.
This
remember?
Plastic, I know, with like a Harry Potter wand, and
it's the finger though of the alien, like E.T. touching his third eye.
So what's up with all these ghoulies touching your third eye? I don't like it. Do you like it?
Well, it's supposed to be enlightenment, right? Yeah. So you're getting the mysteries of the universe downloaded into you from E.T.'s finger. Mm-hmm. And so, well, where else is it going to touch you other than your third eye, except for the other third eye, your butt, which the aliens are all into that stuff. We'll see. And this comes up with Whitley. So he claims, right? Whitley claims that when he was abducted, the fake and gray happened to Whitley.
Mm-hmm. So his friend is pissed and he wants to get out of there because the next morning at breakfast,
Yeah, so this
everyone's
like
by the way, did you get like messed up by aliens last night?
This Uri Geller looking dude is like, take us home. We do not like it here. This place is terrible.
Yeah. So he says, sure, I'll take you home. So this is his first encounter of the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes home and he's trying to write again. And he's got all these like dad jokes. And he's such a wacky, zany dad, right?
Yeah, come on. Let's go through it. We got so many movies, so we gotta spend this whole time on this
he's
crazy
irritable
movie.
now, and he's communing with spirits. So he thought this alien crap would cure his writer's block.
Well, he eventually says at one point after he goes to the psychiatrist that he's going to dump his previous story, whatever it was, and tell this alien story, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's realizing that an alien story in America will go a lot further than trying to be the next Faulkner or Flannery O'Connor.
So he's like scared of everything now.
Right. So he starts developing these neuroses and fears of everything, right?
And
lightning, thunder, clouds, trees.
And his wife is so pissed. She's like, I'm going to leave you. You're
Halloween
scared of everything."
masks.
Oh, Halloween got too real. And
he sees an alien mask that had a Halloween party that's like a kid wearing it, and it freaks him out.
I like how there's two kinds of dumb aliens. There's like the frog, like in the robes, the Pepes in the robes, and there's
There's midget Pepes in robes,
Yes.
and then there's the floppy,
No!
the floppy Gumby ones.
So he's hunting aliens and he almost shoots her because he's going crazy. And
Yeah, so he's getting paranoid,
they go
excessively
to the
paranoid.
psychiatrist, right? And
By the way, so hypno regression, I think this is obviously pseudoscience nonsense. Because you have no idea there's no way to show that what you're regressing and experiencing, I mean, you could be a memory, but it also could be a dream. Like, you don't know that you're accurately recalling.
yeah.
Oops.
Oh,
How long? I guess I didn't mean to delete us or mute us. How long are we muted? I'm sorry. So the chat is really behind. I think I accidentally hit the mute button when I was trying to fix something. But anyway, hopefully it wasn't muted too long. I don't think it was. But we were talking about how hypno regression is a bunch of BS. Yes, I know. I hit the mute button when I was fixing the volume. So go ahead.
no sound. Lost the audio. Sound back.
That's
okay.
like a minute behind.
All right. He's losing it. He's seeing bug people everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
His friend thinks they're trolls. So there's also this whole like fairy tale idea of maybe these are what you hear about in medieval times. Like these are actually the trolls or aliens or something stupid like that, right? So then he realizes he's been seeing this stuff since he was a kid.
So he says.
Yeah, so he says.
But isn't it interesting that always confirms people's chosen narrative, right?
So
They were speaking to me since I was a kid because I'm special. I'm chosen.
So he goes to like meet them somehow. He goes to the cabin. Like they've been stalking him. He just wants them to go away, and finally he has to confront
He's going to
them.
reconcile himself to them, and they have a samba party.
They have like hula dancing, and the ones with long arms are doing this.
So
and
either Whitley Strieber was tripping balls,
it was
and
so weird.
or this is a dream, or this is just complete nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So he literally claims that he went and had like a hula party when they were like they're like hitting pinatas and shit.
They do sign language with him, and they shake hands and a bunch of other.
No, they do like
gestures.
they don't shake hands. They do like the whole like a little game of like
Oh yeah.
hopscotch or whatever you.
Yeah, and then there's the Addams Family clone of himself.
Welcome everybody. Thank you. We will get to super chats as we progress. Thank you for those nice little super chats so far. Be sure to support the show by subscribing to the website. Of course, things are getting pretty wild, this week. So be sure and follow Jason Analysis at Jason Analysis. You can subscribe there, become a follower. Who knows? Things could disappear at any time. We know that on the Tweetster. We've seen a lot of disappearances, so we can't always rely on these things. And you can rely, hopefully, at least in the meantime, on Jay's analysis. It's going to be there, Lord willing. So definitely follow us there. You can also subscribe through crypto, of course. There is the wallet address on every post if you want to subscribe to my site via Bitcoin or whatever. Mainly Bitcoin right now. I don't think that plug-in is really worth anything else, but you can support also by ordering books, the signed copies, at the shop at Jay's Analysis. And go ahead.
Yeah, we're still talking about communion. This is a fun show. We're cracking up. So we're almost done with communion.
Wow.
Wow. It was weird because they're having this Mamba party, and the gray alien cracks its head off, and there's a gooier alien underneath. Do you remember that?
I thought it was a mask or thing that it's wearing. It's a suit.
Underneath.
A suit.
Yeah, it gets gooier. They dance the bossa nova. They're chilling out. Wife thinks it was a god, so he goes back and tells her, and like he's healed and reconciled. Like, they can take me and do bum stuff whenever. I don't care because we danced it off.
Yeah, they went and had a party, so he's fine with it.
Yeah. And
they had a pinata birthday party with Whitney.
She thinks that this is like God somehow. Is her interpretation of it. So this movie was a stink bomb. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I don't see how it could be more obvious that this is psyop. This alien stuff is preparing the way for.
Well, and again, as we said, in the Bible, in the biblical perspective, it's fallen angels and entities that are known for doing these types of things, right? Maybe not so much physically abducting you, but at least spiritually speaking, harassing people, nightmares, sleep paralysis, torturing people in their spirit. This kind of stuff is classic. It's ancient, and it's precisely what the Bible describes of demons.
There's a scene where he is in like some support group, and the lady's like, "I didn't ask for this to happen to me. I didn't want this. And she's really freaking out.
Yeah, he goes to like a support group. Is it MUFON or NICAP or something like that? And by the way, those are all fake too. Those were all infiltrated a long time ago by feds and people just trying to keep up on lunatics and people with mental problems. But all right, so that is Communion. Very popular book, came out in the 80s, probably sold millions of copies. The movie, I mean, if you want a funny, ridiculous movie to watch, and to watch Christopher Walken spinning around in circles and dancing like I don't know what for the whole movie, it's fun. But next we're going to move to Fire in the Sky, which is a little better in terms of film quality. It's a better movie. The story is pretty good. It's done well, as these alien abduction movies go. There's not many of these that are very good. I mean, a lot of them are pretty stupid. Fourth Kind, right, with Mila Jovovich. Close Encounters is probably the best of this genre. But this one is interesting because it's a little better as a film. And you've got Doggett as a redneck, right? Doggett is just like, it literally looks like Charlie Daniels, right? Like old 70s Charlie Daniels looks just like Agent Doggett, playing this team of logging boys from the sticks. Get it? Sticks, logs. Logging boys from the sticks who are in Arizona or New Mexico.
I think it was northern Arizona.
And I don't, have the people who direct this movie, have they ever been to Arizona or New Mexico or the South? Because all the boys in Arizona and New Mexico talk like they're from Alabama.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm from the South. I know all the Southern dialects, and I've been to Arizona and New Mexico. They don't talk like it's here. Well, Sheriff, I don't know what you all about, but I seen them aliens out there. That's not how people in Arizona and New Mexico talk. Okay, that's like Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. Okay.
I liked this movie because it had D.B. Sweeney in it, who I remember from that movie, The Cutting Edge.
Let's get up and talking at the mic. They can't hear you. I never watched that.
They will probably
skating
know.
crap.
That's like a 90s wholesome
I know
rom-com.
D.B. Sweeney is, but I never watched the skating movie.
Yeah, so D.B. Sweeney, he is the part of the
Abductee.
logging crew, and he gets the one who's abducted, and when they get back, they all think that they killed D.B. Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy from Rockford Files comes to interrogate them.
Yes, James Garner shows up, and he is super skeptic, right? He's like straight up Reddit level, except he's not wearing a fedora, he's wearing a cowboy hat. He's a cowboy hatted Reddit skeptic who doesn't believe anything. Like, no matter how much evidence comes out that these boys ain't lying, James Garner just ain't having it, dude.
Yeah. Oh, and then another funny thing is they are reading the Weekly World News like they.
Right, James Garner thinks they've made all this up because in the truck after the abduction is the Weekly World News that has the story about alien abductions, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so basically he's abducted, and Doggett and his buddies have to try to make up this story to account for where their buddy is because they're accused of murder. This is based on a true story. I've not read the true story. I don't really care that much about true alien stories because I can't tell the difference between the true alien stories, quote unquote, and the fiction. All the way back to the first story of George Adamski, which was made up based on fiction, right? So there we go.
Let's see. Doggett's wife's not happy.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have an abduction scenario, you're probably gonna have a divorce the next year or two. Because I mean, you've been violated, right? Now, Doggett hasn't been violated, but
what is the AFAR, American Foundation Aerial Research?
I don't know what that was. Was that in the movie?
White Mountains, Apache Legend. Oh, okay. So they're having these flashbacks, and then they're starting to like put pieces together. Like, well, there are these stories from the Indians.
Okay, so the Indians had the Skymen.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI men went on a long journey.
Yeah.
FBI men go on a long journey.
The town doesn't believe them. And lo and behold, this kid calls from a payphone like 5 days later after he got sucked up and they yeeted and left him.
Mm-hmm.
So he shows up on a rainy night and he's like, I'm back from being abducted.
And everybody who comes back from their alien abductions is in their whitey tighties.
Cold in the rain.
Or they're in their birthday suit.
Yeah. So he's got like PTSD now, something fierce.
He's traumatized. And this gets Doggett and company off the hook. And the bad part about this movie is that it's really anticlimactic. Okay, so as is often the case, movies have a really hard time ending themselves well. So the third act is always the challenge, and it's no different, unfortunately, with this film. The film just ends. D.B. Sweeney takes Doggett, who is now a hermit living in the woods by himself, on a meaningful, emotional journey to the location, and they talk it out, and they have a little bit of a verklempt tear moment, and they're buddies again.
Yeah.
So that was it. I wanted something more. This was really.
I think the climax was the actual scene of what happened to him in the spaceship.
Well, that was only like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was
a
also
slow
goofy
burn kind of horror movie where the horror is in your mind.
And by the way, aliens in this happen to have, very precise screws and bolts that look like something from True Value Hardware. I'm just so glad that the alien technology also makes use of, basic human physics, right? And in terms of, like, I thought aliens have advanced technology, but they still use screws and dental equipment, right? Because they were just obsessed with, screwing with what's his face, with the dental equipment, sticking things in his mouth,
in his eyes,
like medieval torture devices and dental equipment. Okay, yeah, sure.
Well, he wakes up in a cocoon thing like in the Matrix, but it's all gooey. Alien stuff is so gooey and gross. All of it. Don't you think?
Because it's made up. Yeah.
I know, but this is what they're going to be worshiping come the alien, but...
Yeah. I mean, people are going to believe.
Here's another...
We've already been primed by a zillion movies, a zillion science fiction stories, freaking H.G. Wells and all his 100 years of this nonsense. So, yeah, of course people are ready for this.
Here's another movie where that face is just a cocoon.
Where what?
I mean... The skin is just a suit. It always happens that this grayish thing is just a suit because in this one too, it cracks off and...
Oh, the grays are wearing a suit.
Let's see.
Fake and gray.
Yeah. Fake and gray, dude. The gray is just a suit.
Okay, yeah. So, Fire in the Sky. How many? How many?
I mean, dog it, cowboy hats.
No. Oh, it also has Elliot. Speaking of Elliot, it has what's his face. Is one of the. He plays a really minor role though. So the irony here is that Elliot is E.T. and then he grows up. The aliens come back and they abduct his friend and torture him. So actually, maybe E.T. wasn't that friendly and came back and messed with his friend's butt.
Yep, that was Fire in the Sky. I remember being scared of that when I was a kid.
Yeah, Fire in the Sky is not. It's better than Communion, but still very lacking.
That's easy.
It was very anticlimactic.
Well, okay, this might be just as bad or worse than Communion.
I remember seeing this in the theater in '97.
This Contact was so goofy.
It's entertaining because it's goofy.
Yeah.
But of course, this is a Carl Sagan story. Carl Sagan, he promotes the panspermia myth in the sense that the aliens put us in Genesis, right? Genesis is really an alien story, right? I disagree, obviously, with Sean Stone when I had him on. I didn't know Sean Stone's views, by the way. So I was like, why'd you let him talk about this? I didn't know what his view was.
Yeah.
So Elliot from E.T., right? That's what I'm talking about. Is also in Fire in the Sky. But yeah, so this is one of the breakout. Now, Matthew McConaughey had obviously already been in a couple films. He was in, his first one was the Linklater, what's the stoner movie? The Linklater one.
High School something.
Dazed and Confused.
Oh, yeah.
But this is his first big major blockbuster role opposite Jodie Foster. And really a bizarre character. It's like Matthew McConaughey is a missionary who has left the church. I don't know what church he's supposed to be a part of, but he becomes some kind of guru, but he believes in aliens because he was friendly to Jodie Foster during Jodie Foster's work at SETI. So we have, once again, 90s obsession with SETI and all this nonsense. Mm-hmm. And I think SETI is just so dumb, dude. I'm not even going to go into it because I've just talked about stupid SETI is like 50 times. But you get the idea. We're not going to talk about SETI. But what is Carl Sagan trying to propagandize us with in Contact? And this is a big movie in the 90s. It was big.
It was huge.
Yeah.
This movie really solidified the fact I don't really care for Jodie Foster. So it made it all the more love to hate this movie.
Jodie Foster.
Do you remember Carl Sagan and a stupid thing they shot into space with our measurements and our DNA and the music and
Jacko CDs and Prince and
all this stuff that
we can't wait for the aliens to see the music that we have and the culture, and we have Pepsi and Coke, and we have Thriller. Wait till they play the Thriller record we send into space. Like the aliens are gonna get this record.
No, do you remember they beamed a Doritos commercial to a Alpha Centauri or something like that? Yeah, just crazy stuff like that. Anyways, so all these radio waves going.
Maybe that's why the aliens are coming to destroy us. They saw our culture and the Doritos, and they're like, this planet needs to go, dude.
They made a Taco Bell with Doritos Crunch Chip shell. They need to be destroyed.
And now what the F? Now I love the aliens. I'm on their side. Like, this planet needs to go, dude.
You don't want to live? Okay. So
what the WTF? I love aliens now.
Radio waves going into space. All space is in a child's eye. They do a lot of things with her eye in this movie.
Because of Illuminate Confirm.
Yeah. So she liked radio stuff as a kid because she wants to talk to her dead mom.
Billions and billions and billions, right? So, and by the way, Carl Sagan is the Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye of 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
So he occupied that role of pop scientism, science man, right?
So this is how we get.
But what I'm saying, he teaches all this esoteric gibberish and alien crap.
Yeah.
As science man. So that we were being prepped by people who are supposedly scientists, right? Atheistic materialists. Oh, but wait, actually, we're into aliens.
Right. But this is how we got television, them trying to communicate with spirits on the other side. So she's using the radio waves and SETI to try and get in touch.
This is how we got television. What do you mean?
When he invented the Crookes tube, he was trying to use it as a way to contact spirits. You know that story, the William Crookes.
Oh, because then the story Contact is contacting the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have another occult thing, right? So in the last one we had, the aliens are here to experiment on us and have communion. Now the aliens are coming, and it's really just the dead. They're going to help us contact and know, find our dead relatives. Don't you want to know your dead relatives? Of course. Well, then the aliens.
The aliens are your dead relatives, maybe.
No, the guy is. He shows up as her dead relative because that helps her understand.
Oh,
because she's scared.
Yeah. Okay. So she goes work for SETI, and then she meets old Matthew, who has a religious master's degree in divinity.
I got my master's in divinity when I was flying in space.
Yeah.
On my Lincoln, trying to shoot down Cyrus the bull. Or what's the bull? I was Taurus the bull out in space. I said he needed to be named Cyrus, not Taurus. And I shot my Lincoln lasers at him.
Yep.
Yeah, so Matthew is full Matthew in this, being goofy.
Spiritual, but not religious.
Right?
What does he say? He is the word that he hates the most. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I
okay.
hate the word unbelievable.
So he's the Mulder to her Scully.
Exactly, I wrote that down.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't believe in unbelievable.
She wants to talk to her dead dad, so she goes to work for SETI.
Interesting. So religious motivations for scientists.
And they joke about it, saying they're sending emails to ET.
That's my joke. They said that?
No,
maybe. That's my joke.
Okay.
Because SETI is stupid.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
they're not going to spend billions of dollars to send emails to ET.
She stares at Stevie Taddick looking for patterns in the chaos. So this is another...
Patterns in the chaos.
Yeah.
That's my joke.
And then Matthew becomes a spiritual counselor of the White House. Like, what is even that job?
Well, remember, like Billy Graham. Right? Billy Graham has been like a spiritual counselor, Billy Graham to the White House.
So Matthew's wondering this whole time.
Come down to the altar.
Billy
Graham.
Are they worse or better off with science?
What do you mean?
This is one of his questions.
Oh, I see. Right. So the pragmatic response, right? Like,
yeah.
It doesn't really matter if religion's true or not, but does it help? Right?
And,
does it help?
And he's like hung up on her because she ghosted him after they slept together.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty rude. You should look up.
Well, she ghosts. Maybe she ghosts. I was trying to think of a joke. Like, he thought that was the best way to get in contact with her. Being ghosted. Because contact with ghosts. Anyway.
Because she just wants to talk to ghosts.
Right.
I get it. That was good.
Boo. Boo. I'm a ghost now. Boo. Call me back. Please call back.
You should look up CIA's Project Gateway. This is kind of
You mean the remote viewing SRI? That's what you're talking about?
And the contact with the aliens.
Stargate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
the attempt at that.
Isaac talks about Project Gateway.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. When we interviewed Isaac, I forgot he talked about that.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
There's a Bill Clinton cameo clip.
By the way, if you do want to support via Super Chat, it's now via Streamlabs. The Streamlabs is the best Super Chat service now. You click on the Streamlabs link, as I put in the chat, and it takes you over to another page. And you do your Super Chat that way, and it pops up on the screen, and we'll read it here in a little bit. Yeah. By the way, I need some water. Go ahead. Keep it.
Okay.
It's Matthew's got me all thirsty. I'm thirsty. I need me some Jody. I'm thirsty.
You need water?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to go. But go.
Okay, go ahead. Math is the universal language. They come up with this idea.
Can you do your times tables?
Let's see. They had satellite phones. They had Skype, all in this little place where they started to hear this pulse. So they finally get a signal back through all of their listening. And let's see, they attract all the attention of the military and the president now that they have this confirmation that ET exists. And they're talking to them through, I think it's like prime numbers, or yeah, math is a universal language. So the thwomps are in some kind of prime number pattern. Then they have all of these UFO cult suicides, because once they announce
Heaven's
the
Gate type of thing.
alien, yeah.
Go ahead.
Once they announce the aliens are here, then the people start going crazy.
I kind of forget that part. Is there like a world religions type of thing involved in this or not?
There's like a Burning Man UFO camp contact in the desert.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, because the aliens send them these schematics to build this thing.
Oh, yeah, they build them a hypercube so that they
Yeah.
can go into the next dimension. That's what it is.
And then there's this other mysterious
right.
airplane billionaire Bond villain guy who's funding the whole thing.
And he had chosen Jodie, right?
Yeah. A Tesseract portal machine,
Right.
right? And then you've got the terrorist anti-alien guy, probably.
Oh yeah, the Busey, Gary Busey's son plays the guy. He's got a flat top, and
he looks like a geese lord.
And he is an evangelical terrorist who does not want the hypercube to be built.
Right. So he has a plan to put a stop to their contact.
Because they don't believe in science. If you believe in Christ, you don't believe in science, which is silly, but that's the way it's always presented in these stories, right?
The aliens are vegans from Vega, so that's weird.
Why is that weird?
A lot of times they don't name
Jake Busey, thank you.
Name from where they're from.
Oh yeah.
But they put a name on it.
Well, I didn't realize that in the alien mythos, which we'll see when we do Prometheus here in a moment, is that it's the Zeta Reticulans, right? Which is funny because that's one of the famous stories. I think the Betty and Barney Hill story, which is another fraud. So you think Zeta Reticulan is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Reticulous. Get it? Zeta Reticulus. It's Zeta Ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
Zeta Ridiculans.
I like how she acts like a persecuted atheist.
Yeah,
Like,
science
you're
is
always persecuting for me for my
persecution
beliefs
complex.
in
Yeah,
science.
nobody. I'm the true martyr for science and blah blah.
You just
Scully
don't
does that too.
have as much morals as me because I'm a scientist. I'm
You don't even like
objective about
coffee.
everything.
Yeah, vegan.
Mm-hmm.
Vegan.
Haha, they're vegans from Vegas.
Right.
Okay, what else? Richard Branson, private space program, Elon Musk. So this is the dude that is
Oh yeah,
funding
this guy is
Bitcoin.
like a predecessor. He's like an Elon Musk, Richard Branson's private space program kind of guy.
There's a lot of 2001 Space Odyssey imagery in this too. Remember?
Yeah, I
so
mean, you could tell that Carl Sagan would be definitely borrowing from. I mean, Arthur C. Clarke was in the circles of these kinds of pop scientism promoters. Arthur C. Clarke was a TV presenter, right? So 2001, Childhood's End, right? This is scientism propaganda promoting aliens, and Arthur Clarke was in the circles of Crowley. Arthur C. Clarke was hanging out with Crowleyans. What?
Your chair squeaks.
I know. We got to get a new. I got my boomer lawn chair in here still, so we got to get a new chair.
It's really bad.
Okay, go.
We
gotta get through this stupid movie.
So they build this ball, and she gets in it. No, okay, so the crazy guy blows up the first one and messes it up, and she's like, oh, crap. What are we gonna do? And turns out the guy built another one
The
behind
billionaire had
in
a backup.
secret.
I know, yep.
Secret backup. So the world doesn't know that this is happening now. They can keep it a secret. Oh, which makes me think maybe they do that on purpose. Maybe they... Anyway.
Maybe.
She gets in the ball. She's going down Bill and Ted's tunnel. Her personalities are splitting apart. And she ends up in a beach in space like Fiji or Pensacola, if you're a Scientologist, like paradise. She ends up on a sparkle beach. Do you remember that? And she's like, it's beautiful. And she meets her dad.
Looks like something from a glamour shot or like a 90s Windows screensaver.
It's like Lisa Frank Beach.
Yeah, Lisa Frank Beach.
Yeah. And this alien comes in the form of her dad and says, you wouldn't understand us, so we have to like come pose as you're dead.
So maybe when we contact the dead as aliens.
We have to have faith in the aliens. You said Einstein-Rosenbridge? What does that mean? They talk about
No, they talk about it as just some word salad bullshit as to how this thing works.
Oh, Occam's razor they talk about. Now she wants the people to have faith in her. She is the prophet of the new alien religion, indoctrinating youth into alien cult.
Right, so the movie is about Jodie Foster's character going from scientism and materialism to an initiated new occult type of new age religion. Mm-hmm. So she comes out of it admitting basically that the Matthew McConaughey missionary guy was right, that scientism doesn't explain everything. But
there is a God and it's the aliens.
Right, so but this is what another theme we're going to see in tonight's movies, which is that it turns out there is design in the universe, there is order, there is planning. We were created, but it wasn't God. Oh, no, it's aliens, you see. Mm-hmm. That's the real God.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's going to be relevant to the Bible because the Bible says that the deceiving spirits that claim to be the space god entities, the space gods, claim to be God. And they're deceptive. And they appear as angels of light. And they deceive. And you meet and commune with them on the high places, right? Where do the aliens land in Close Encounters? Devil's Mountain, the high places. So why did Crowley want to go mountaineering all the time? To meditate atop the mountains, right? Mm-hmm. Supposedly, to contact the entities.
Pyramid power.
And Satan is the spirit and power of the air, right? The lower heavens, we should say.
So what do you give Jodie Foster in Contact? How many?
Really, it's only good to make fun of. I mean, it's just one of those movies that is stupid. Let's do this one is a stink bomb too. Let's do this. And let's get this one. Let's go through this one fast because this one's really bad.
Okay.
I'd never seen this because it was one of the lowest rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes for many years. I think it had like 8 or 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is just like really bad.
This is the guilt trip movie about how we'll never change and we're going to kill the planet and we need the aliens to save us from ourselves.
And if I was Keanu, and they asked me, we need you to play the wooden, emotionless alien. Okay. Right? I might be a little offended. Like, I have a range. Right? But no, they want him to play kind of like Arnold playing the Terminator, right?
Oh, that's true.
Don't show any emotions. That will be really easy.
So the day the Earth stood still is what we're talking about.
Stood still.
Opens up in 1928, mountains in India. Kinko's climbing. He finds a glowy orb.
Of course, yeah. It's always Himalayan. It's always Blavatsky type stuff, right? The aliens love theosophy.
Yeah.
They love the alien cults, I should say, love theosophy.
He sees the light. So has this been the common thing in all of these movies? There's been a bright, flashy light to their forehead.
Okay.
Keanu freeze. Okay,
you don't have to read the whole plot.
I know he comes in contact with this thing. It takes his DNA. Mm-hmm. It makes a new Kinko to come back in 2012 or whenever.
We should clone Keanu Reeves. There should be the human race should just be clones of Keanu Reeves.
So then you got Jennifer Connelly is Science.
J-Con, she's Miss Science.
And Jaden Smith is her stepson. And
how can reality be real if her eyes aren't real?
Yes.
What does he say?
The government needs her for science. One day they storm her house and take her away.
Right.
Because she's an astrobiologist, which doesn't even exist. And she's like, it's theories of life beyond Earth is what I
Well, it exists, but it's just one of these purely theoretical,
Well,
it's a science fiction degree of science.
You said make a note about essential and non-essential people. Scientists are essential.
That is what's interesting, that this movie does have the idea of the essential and non-essential workers. And because of the invasion, it's the scientific elite who are seen to be the only and most essential people. So if you're not a Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Nye, you're not an essential twerker.
Yeah. So Jaden is a bratty stepson. And there is something coming. There's an extinction level event
Ely.
And it lands in Central Park. The aliens come out to shake hands with Jennifer Connelly, and they shoot him right in the chest. First thing, he steps on Earth, and boom, he gets shot. It's like,
oh, that's right. They shoot.
Welcome to the hood of the universe.
Well, the point is that the alien movies are always trying to point out that humans are unevolved and we are rash and we're savage and we kill and then, but the irony is that the aliens are always here to kill us. So it's like they're doing what we're supposedly bad for doing. Yes, they are.
Xenophobic is what they're saying. They're saying you're so xenophobic. You think we're here to
But they're here to kill us.
You think we're here to kill you, but we're here to kill you. No, actually, they were here to kill us.
That's what I'm saying.
Screw them, and you're gaslighting us, aliens. Stop doing that. So, Jaden is bratty. The ball lands in Central Park, and it has this giant, like, robot thing that protects it from all of our weapons. Nothing can stand against it. The thing they shot, the goo becomes Kinko. And
I'm trying to find the show that I did earlier about some of these other. I did an analysis of the original Day the Earth Stood Still, right? So this is the remake that is just unbelievably bad. I'm trying to find that show I did about a year ago about. I did Arrival, Day the Earth Stood Still. Anyway, go ahead. I'm just trying to find that link for people so they can follow. Okay. If they like this, they'll like this one.
New York Stock Exchange is crashing. Misery Bates is standing in for the president. She's the Secretary of Defense. The slime ball that came out that they shot that turned into Kinko has 3 parts. It has human body, biospacesuit, and a brain. So there's 3 different types of DNA going on in this like goo ball. His name is Klaatu.
Klaatu Barata. Yeah.
And he represents a group of civilizations all around you. You say that? I represent a group of civilizations all around you. No. Okay. And he wants
have to pay me money for you don't get free Kinkos around here.
He wants to be taken straight to the UN, but of course, us xenophobic Americans.
Right. The Americans who don't believe in the United Nations, the xenophobic Tersh.
Yeah. John Hamm is the scientist with principles. He does an okay job in this, I guess. Day the Earth is still okay. He's too good for this movie. Kinko can do electrical stuff with his mind, so he can heal things. He has the life-giving powers like E.T.
I'm trying to find that video. Just keep going.
Okay, he escapes custody. He's a friend to the Earth. So he's not a friend to humans, mind you. He's a friend to the Earth. There's a big difference because he's trying to save Earth from the humans.
Found it.
Right? So he goes to meet with this, like, his alien scout that was here before him that was supposed to report back to see if humans are worth saving or not. And the Chinese guy's like, no, you can kill them. They're too destructive, but I want to die too. So it was a really weird exchange that he had with this guy. Did you find it? Okay.
This video is ridiculous, by the way, so be prepared for a high level of stupidity. This is, if you do want to see the analysis I did of that Charlie Sheen alien movie that was really dumb, remember Arrival? With the little black kid with his legs turned in reverse.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yes, you do. We were laughing at that.
Oh. Anyways.
He goes to SETI. The Arrival.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one. Yes. With the guy with the arm. It comes out. Okay. I remember that.
So anyway, I have an analysis of this, the original Day the Earth Stood Still, and some other stupid alien movies.
Yeah.
And that video is really goofy, so beware.
Okay. So now we've got Kinko, Jennifer Connelly, Jaden Smith, all running from the American government. And somehow Kinko decides that love exists because he sees an exchange between Jaden and Jennifer Connelly, and he changes.
Okay, so
life.
he converts, and
Yeah.
there's nano bugs everywhere. It's just terrible. This is really dumb.
Nano locusts are eating the entire earth, but he sees that there's love.
But they were going to do a great reset.
Well, that's what happens anyways, because he had already set in motion this apocalyptic event, but he stops it before it kills every last thing and saves it. But there's so much destruction that there's going to be a great reset now. Mm-hmm. Right?
I did do the newer Arrival as well. You can find that video where I'm dressed up like George Tsoukalos from Ancient Aliens. So if you type in Arrival 2016 Jay Dyer, you'll get that video. That's the Arrival with Charlie Sheen, which is really, really bad.
So his moral of his story is like, we change at the precipice. It takes an ELE to make humans care about the planet.
Right. So problem, reaction, solution. There's a crisis brings about the social change, right? And we're seeing that right now, right? So that's, by the way, in multiple movies we've noticed now with the theme of Great Reset from the 90s. Now, I mean, this isn't from the 90s, but the Bond with Sean Bean. Remember Sean Bean's plot was, I got to take you back to the Stone Age.
Yeah,
right?
They were back to the Iron Age now because there's no...
For England, for Gondor, to the Stone Age. I like my Sean Bean. I actually think that's kind of funny.
So now they are back at some kind of Iron Age because there's no electricity.
Okay. So that's how it ended, was a Great Reset?
Yeah. That's David.
So when the Great Reset happens, blame Keanu Reeves. That's what we're saying.
Yep. Now we've got...
Thank you, okay. Thank you to the mods. By the way, the mods are so great at digging up those videos. And yeah, thank you. That's definitely one of my dumbest videos I've ever made with the twerking aliens.
Nice. We've got almost 400, and we're having super mega fun.
Yeah, we had some really cool super chats. Really happy for those. Let's read a couple of those before we move on. We're not going to read them all. We'll do a couple here. Let's see. Eric for $25. For Gondo! He says, thank you for all your content, both the scholarly and the fun stuff. You're welcome. Thank you, and be sure to follow our work at Jay's Analysis just in case. Exposing Powerful Lies, $20. Thank you. Jay, I admire your work. Your epic bars and rhymes. You spit fire all over little A's weak-ass bars. Thank you. I'm glad that finally people recognize this. Stay in that rap game, playa, and you be representing the trans boomers everywhere. So here are some dollars. That is the kind of super chat that is model. That is a model super chat right there from our boy Exposing Powerful Lies. Stinky Linky, $3. Your take on Signs by Shyamalan says it has alien religion themes in it. Yes, if you want to read my take, you can get this excellent book. That's Dark Hollywood 2, which has a whole chapter on Shyamalama Ding Dong Signs. I also did a video on Shyamalama Ding Dong Signs. So you can go watch I don't know, that video didn't get very, very many views. That was back in the day of the classic chunkier, carb-bloated Jay Dyer. But yeah, you can find that video. Autistic Spectrum Warrior, $5. You are covering up the existence of Duganist aliens who have occupied the Kremlin. Aliens have come down to Kremlin, and we will, through Donald Trump and through Vladimir Putin, expose world to truth of disclosure. Disclosure. DC Customs, $5. This is for your Matthew. Happy New Year's to you and Jamie. And Happy New Year's to you, baby. C-Man, $10. He says, Dare McAdams. Whoa, dude. $50. That's what I'm talking about. That keeps us going. That's engine in the super chat tank. No, that's gas in the super chat tank to fuel the live stream engine. I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you for all your teachings on orthodoxy. Word to you, Darren McAdams at Energy Air. So if you guys want to, you can follow him at Energy Air. He gives a shout out. What? Where's what?
Nothing.
And we'll save some of these super chats for later. Where are we at now? Are we done with that stupid movie?
Yeah.
That was a stink bomb. Don't waste your time with this terrible movie.
Now we got... Super
So far, have we done any good movies? Or have they all been terrible?
No.
These are all terrible. War of the Worlds.
We're getting better. Do you want to do War of the Worlds or Super 8?
War of the Worlds.
Okay.
We got to do one decent movie. Now, War of the Worlds. I think this is Spielberg's last decent movie. Just as movies go. I don't remember the last Spielberg movie I liked. Back to this one. I actually think this is a really well done propaganda. H.G. Wells, most famous propagandist of all time, more famous than Edward Bernays. But this is a good movie.
It's a good action movie.
Yeah, I mean it's really well done. The scenes are great. The effects for the time were great.
Scary.
Yeah, it's just a really really well done movie.
Let's see. So
It's our
starts
first
out
decent
with
movie in this
Ray.
whole list.
His name is Ray.
Tom Coon.
Get it? Ray of light.
It's my Tom laugh. I can't do anything but that Tom laugh.
Do it again.
No.
Oh, it hurts your head.
It hurts my beautiful hair.
So his name's Ray of Light. Or not of light. His name's Ray.
This is Ray.
But we have been talking about light and aliens this whole time. So,
It's a cold Kufid virus.
he
And there's Morgan Freeman at the beginning. The aliens will not
gets
prepare for...
divorced and he gets his kids.
There was an alien virus. They were not prepared for our Kufid.
And if that's not bad enough, the aliens come while it's dad weekend or whatever. So he has to protect his
Single dad.
kids with single dad power. Which is mightier than usual dad power because he's got stuff to prove, right? He's got to prove to his
Well, this is
ex-wife
all
that he's not
about,
worthless.
as usual, Spielberg movies are all about family dynamics and people on the outs.
Yeah.
So it's always a dad-son thing, and this is about Robbie and Dakota Fanning, I forget her name, and their mistaken view of dad, Tom Coom, or Coom Cruise, whichever you prefer. And so that's the underlying emotional theme of this movie. Otherwise, it's the idea of the aliens not being prepared for what we have, right?
Yeah.
And what's going on our planet. And there's not a whole lot to say in terms of esoteric analysis, except that when the aliens show up, it is interesting that the first thing that is crumbling and destroyed is the church, right? That church in Boston where Tom Cruise is walking down the street and he sees this and it crumbles. The aliens are all tripods, right? So they're this kind of triad type of creature. I'm not sure what that's supposed to signify, but for whatever reason, Spielberg feels that the aliens are the most important thing of all time. Mm-hmm. So this is a bit of a departure from typical Spielberg, where aliens are not friendly, but are the enemy.
Yeah. So you've got him trying to keep them alive while these aliens are sucking up everybody and shooting their blood and spraying it everywhere. And trying to seed the earth again.
Seed the earth? What do you mean?
Well, just getting rid of people, exterminating.
Oh, right.
people.
It's another depop. They're trying to, get rid of man. Man's the virus, right? This type of thing. Now, remember, this is our high-level Masonic global controller person's story, H.G. Wells. Mm-hmm. Right. So this one we'll be covering the actual story in the near future. And by the way, we also need to do the original. So we're doing some of the revamped versions in tonight's show, but we need to do the original War of the Worlds from the 30s, very famous movie, and some of these old alien movies too, because they were really trying to set the stage for this long-term obvious psyop. I mean, is it not obvious, guys, that we're being prepped for? I mean, we're always prepped in the fiction, right? That's the whole kind of the presupposition of this channel, is that the fiction prepares us for what's coming. And so then what we do is try to decipher that.
So I thought it was interesting when he goes underground with Tim
We do
Robbins.
we do Hollywood augury. We do movie augury.
Yeah. When he goes underground with Tim Robbins, so you've got, not only does he have to look out for the aliens, he has to look
Man
out
versus man.
Yeah,
right.
for his fellow man.
There's also a theme of American revolutionary ethos here, right? Like the because we have Boston Tea Party. There's shots of revolutionary soldiers as they make their way to Boston. There's references to these different, historical American landmarks. You get intimations of the American Revolution, but here it's not a human army. It's versus this foreign threat. And as we pointed out many times, you can very easily find in the history of propaganda the usage of the alien threat as psychological warfare representing the external army, the external threat. And so this was in the Cold War. This was hyped up as, right, the threat is the commies. The commies are the alien threat, blah, blah, blah. That's why you get Defense Department funding for things like Twilight Zone, right? All these shows. Why are all these old movies consulted by Department of Defense and the military? Well, I've written 2 books on that because it's propaganda. War of the Worlds was no different. And this ties into, remember the clip of Reagan from the UN in the 80s that the future threat will be the whole human race united against the alien threat. There you go. How do you unite everybody? Pick a threat. They've done it with the climate. They've done it with the environment and the green crap, right? And next comes Great Reset. And what did Klaus in the Great Reset video say? Aliens. Get ready for the alien thing. It's coming. Now, I'm not saying aliens are coming. They're not. They're faking gray. But the threat and the lie of the aliens is coming.
I think this movie would have been scarier if they hadn't had the scene where the actual beings come down.
Yeah, they look stupid. They look like monkeys. They're not.
They had prancy
they're
butts.
dumb, yeah.
I mean, they didn't make sense. They looked like the.
That's what my mom always said about me. But yeah.
Oh. You have a prancy butt.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah. But so the aliens suck them up, and then you find out that it can carry you in these little sacks for food storage, and that's how.
Yeah, they're basically the humans are like a battery, I think,
Yeah.
that propel the machines that they're riding in. These big war machines, the tripods, and there's a great scene actually in the old one that was not in this one, which is the priest, the Roman Catholic priest, who goes out and tries to befriend them, and then the aliens just they zap him. I wish they had put something like that in this one. It would have been interesting, but I guess instead he used the church, the symbolism of the church collapsing.
So Tom Hero Cruise gets inside one of these little guys' butts with a grenade and brings it down from the inside. That's
right. It's very butt imagery looking stuff, and Tom Coombs sticks a grenade up
in the butt with a grenade.
Poop shoots. Blows it up. Long story short, but that's not what kills them. That's how they get away from their situation. But then what ends up killing them, as we know, is the cold virus, right? They got the coronca.
Yep.
The cold virus, as Morgan Freeman says. They weren't prepared for all environment. Mm-hmm. Right. So anyway.
Well, he says that man has earned his right to live here by living and dying with the bacteria.
So billions of years of evolution has given man the right to not be susceptible to the cold virus. Oh wait, we are susceptible to the cold virus, right? Like a cold virus now is the scariest thing in the world. But go ahead.
So that was War of the Worlds.
Right.
Dad did it. Bio Dad did. Yay. What stepdad couldn't do.
Tom Coombs did it.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you for these awesome super chats. So we got 400 nerds in the house. Be sure to like and share if you enjoy this installment. All right, let's get through this quick. We got so many to go.
We got three more good ones. Super 8, another Spielberg. We got Spielberg.
It's not Spielberg.
It's not.
This is J.J. Abrams' tribute to Spielberg.
Right. You're right. So this is set in 1979, 1980. So kind of like a Stranger Things vibe of a movie.
By the way, I just remember that in the Crowleyan idea, the butt plays a central role, right? Where he says the mouth of
Horus.
The
eye
eye
of
of Horus,
better.
which is the butt, is better than the mouth of Isis, which is the vagina. And so in the Crowleyan idea, you can see a obvious connection between why the aliens are so into that region.
So should we do these now or do
No, let's just go. No, let's go.
Okay. So Super 8 mom dies at a steel plant. She's out of the movie. What do I always say?
Death of the mother.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are common literary devices.
Yeah.
Death of a father.
So
or
the
death
dad
of a mother.
wants him to go to baseball camp, but he's more of a artsy kid.
Right. And that
Right.
kid used to go to a church that my friend used to go to. Interestingly.
really?
I forget his name. The real actor kid.
So they're into making movies. And while they're making a movie, they see this gigantic train wreck.
Mm-hmm.
There's these cubies in the train wreck.
Popcorn ball Rubik's Cubes.
Yeah.
Right.
And
This is alien technology that the government has, right? This kind of typical thing that, the government has alien technology that they're
this
hiding
is
from
My
everybody.
Friend, the Alien movie, because it has to do with kids. So kids are always the friend to the alien.
Right. And this is another version of E.T., right? So this is
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams' tribute to E.T., basically.
So
and Goonies.
It turns out their biology teacher is the one who causes train to derail because he's trying to help.
Right.
out
So
this
he used to
alien.
work as a scientist for the military, studying the military's discovery of alien life.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the narrative, right? Roswell was the discovery, blah, 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 of alien life. It wasn't. It was obviously just bullshit. It's a fake story to perpetuate the alien mythos. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen if you look at the pictures of Roswell. If you believe that, then, I have a bridge owned by Matthew McConaughey that goes into space that I want to sell you.
So I noticed there's a bunch of guys and one girl.
Well, like I
Dynamic.
was telling you, these are the outcasts, right?
Yeah.
Even the Goonies had one girl.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So they're not the cool guys. They are the nerds and the artsy. So they get these cubies. And it turns out that the girl that is in their gang her dad is responsible for his mom's death. So there's that dynamic.
Mm-hmm. So it's Ellie Fanning, Dakota's sister from War of the Worlds.
Yeah. So then you got all the pets go missing, all the telephone wires are stolen, appliances, and then there's another element to this movie about the Cold War that makes like Stranger Things.
Right, they reference the Russians and the Russians being behind what's going on, and are they doing this? This again, yeah, good point. Stranger Things, exactly.
Mm-hmm. They're making a movie about zombies and how chemical plants poisoning the town and making zombies.
Is there a deeper theme that the water does make people into zombies? Perhaps.
They evacuate the town. There's a big Orthodox church we found out. That was kind of interesting. What town that was in?
I don't remember, but this real town has a odd, giant Greek Orthodox church with metal walls. It's very bizarre.
So it turns out the teacher was a UFO scientist.
I just said that.
And they tortured the alien, and the alien started to hate them. So they're just, once again, xenophobic. Like,
And it's always a cube. It's because a cube, you turn it on its side, right, and it's the symbol of Saturn, right? You turn a cube on its side, and it becomes that six-sided Saturnalian star, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a hypercube, right? That points you to the hypercube. That's what I'm trying to say.
and all these cubies.
That's his technology to build his ship to get back home.
Yeah.
So it's like E.T., but a scarier E.T., but he befriends Joel, or the character name.
So the military takes the kids, and the monster attacks them. The military can't fight it. And there's a character who's like the stoned friend who's like, yeah, man, he slept through the whole thing, remember?
The dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, bro.
Yeah. Bodies hanging everywhere in the alien's lair. What was he doing with those bodies?
Feeding on people.
Oh, so he was kind of a monster
Yeah.
kind of guy. But he just wanted to go home because he was like Brundlefly, gorilla spider, stupid alien. Another stupid concoction of a...
Yeah, I mean, this is also kind of a tribute to, or a testament to the lack of vision in terms of Hollywood and creativity. I mean,
I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. It's not that bad. It's decent, but where is the news, right? Like where this is just repackaging Goonies, repackaging, E.T., and that's okay, but like we can't just survive on Stranger Things and Super 8, right? All of these throwbacks to the 80s. We've got to have, but we can't anymore because Hollywood has kind of transitioned into just 100% social engineering tool now. So
yeah. So the little kid sweet talks the alien into not killing them because he gets pain.
So like E.T., right? We have this connection between the kid and the right, like the younger generation is the only people, just like the Jaden Smith guy, right, a character. The younger people are the ones who understand and identify with the aliens, and that's why they're chosen and special, right? In Childhood's End, they take everybody's kids, and they evolve them. Mm-hmm. Close Encounters, everybody's kids are taken.
V, I think.
V, your kids are taken, right? It's why is that? Well, it's obvious why, right? They're trying to get rid of you and train up your kids.
So that's Super 8. How many child actors?
I give it 4
Macaulay Culkin.
square popcorn balls. Because
Okay.
that's what the alien had, popcorn balls that were square.
All right.
Circle squares.
We got Prometheus and we got E.T. Let's save E.T. for last. And do Prometheus.
Elliot.
Let's talk about...
Now, we've never done a show on Prometheus. I've done mini installments on Alien and the Alien series, and you can go find those old episodes. But Prometheus, just from a film perspective, was a bit of a letdown. I don't think it was that good because it was really, once again, repackaging things that we've already seen, scenes that we've already seen, scares that we've already seen in Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, whatever. Almost kind of like Alien nowadays, Alien Resurrection, even better than Prometheus, believe it or not. That's probably a contentious claim, but Prometheus isn't terrible. Alien Covenant wasn't that great either. Both of these movies are just severely flawed as films because they underwhelm. I mean, they just didn't deliver what we wanted this to be. I am a big fan of Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. I think every director in that string of films added their unique, twist, right? Ridley Scott's is, of course, the best. Even James Cameron's Aliens is fine. It's a great action film. It still holds up. Really well done, well made. Yeah, it's a lot of propaganda, I know, but I think Alien 3, David Fincher's installment, is great. It holds up good. Nothing about it bugs me. And even Jean-Pierre Jeunet, right? This weird French director, City of Lost Children, and he does Alien. The weirdness of it's great. Nothing wrong with that film. Prometheus, we didn't get the CGI thrills, right? That's not enough to carry a movie like this.
Yeah, so starts out with this giant white alien dude, the engineer.
Right, the space jockeys, engineers, they were apparently testing out stuff. He kills himself to seed Earth, right? They're seeders. They're seeding the planets. He chokes out on the black goo, and this gives birth to humans. Panspermia mythology once again. And then it turns out, the alien engineers, they're not happy with us. We are an aberration, right? We're an accidental creation that did not turn out well, and so they apparently intended to use this black goo and the xenomorphs as a bioweapon to get rid of us. Once again, Depop, right? The alien mythos is always Depop.
Well, fun fact, the Weyland Corporation was started as Walmart in their mythos, right?
Right, so in the 4th installment, Alien Resurrection, Jeunet throws in this funny thing about the Weyland-Yutani Corporation being bought out by Walmart, but that's way in the future. Mm-hmm. So this is in the past. Mm-hmm. So no. So this, what happens in Alien Resurrection is like 500 years in the future.
Oh, it comes before? Right after?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Prometheus is the beginning of
right.
this goofy story.
Okay. So the engineers discover Earth gave birth to humans from their DNA.
Right.
They created the xenomorphs.
Prometheus is about us learning our origins.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
We first encounter alien life. So this
Well-
is before Sigourney Weaver.
Okay. So you got this couple who discovers all these cave paintings that are pointing to this star system that they figure they need to get
Ancient
to.
aliens bullshit, right?
Yeah, they've been watching too much History Channel, and they think that they can get there. And it is Charlize Theron's dad
Yeah. Guy
hires
Pearce,
them.
right.
to take the spaceship to find the gods.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
And on the way, they encounter... Well, they have this AI who takes care of them.
Right. So Michael Fassbender is playing David, who models himself, oddly enough, after Peter O'Toole from Lawrence of Arabia. I don't know why that's significant, other than the fact that Lawrence of Arabia was a British spy, so he was a British imperialist, right? A character who went and set up kind of, the modern Saudi clans and dynasty, right? That's a creation of the British Empire, and that was the job of I just went blank. Lawrence of Arabia.
So you've got Charlize Theron is the strong woman. Captain, not the captain, but the investment owner. Kind
Right, they own the ship.
Yeah.
Right, she's got her own elite cabin
Yeah.
off to the side, which is a separate ship, and they have paid for and funded this journey, or this crew of scientists, again, just like Alien 1, all the same stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you love their corporate communist outfits.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, so they have a corporate communism, right? I mean, are we supposed to think they're fascist? I don't know exactly what they are, but they look like Mao, or they dress like Mao.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So you got them explaining
They're
why
weirdos.
they came. After they wake out of stasis, they get explained to why they're there. And the two scientists, the couple that find the cave paintings, are like, we brought you to meet the gods. And they're like, but what about Darwinism? They don't believe that.
If you want to go against 300 years of Darwin,
3 million years.
then
right.
woo.
Yeah.
But what's the proof?
That's what he says.
Yeah.
No, he says 300 years of Darwinism.
Oh.
Darwinism is not 300.
You're right.
3 million years old.
You're right.
And one of my point is that, here we go. Turns out we were designed. There's telos. There's purpose in the universe. Wasn't God. It was aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Shock. Right. Shocker.
And they figure out that the aliens have this gigantic temple, they think it is, where they're worshiping
Right.
the...
There's some worship going on with xenomorphs and the different alien races. We don't really know the details. I guess that's going to be revealed in future installments if they make them. I don't know. But
So then this stupid traitor AI guy takes some of the black goo they find and he gives it to the guy in the ship and makes him sick.
well, there's always this theme. This is again in the other ones. Remember the AI, the Ian Holm character. He's trying to poison them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
Right.
Once again, same story.
So then they come to the conclusion that there's nothing special about the creation of life because it's just like the soup that you can mix
It's
up
random
if
mutation,
you're
right.
smart enough. So they figure out they have enough black goo to kill everything on the planet in this one cluster.
I don't know why is it always black goo. I just what is the obsession in the alien stories with black goo?
Yeah.
I don't think black goo is a real thing. If it represents oil, maybe it's propaganda against big oil. I don't know, but
I thought one of the most intense scenes in this movie was where she had to go into the... I won't.
yeah,
To go into the med bod to have her alien baby taken out.
right. Which again, we've seen scenes like this in the Sigourney installments. So,
Yeah.
but pretty gooey.
Yeah.
She gives birth to a squid, an eyeless squid.
Squid baby. Mm-hmm. And then she finds out that the old man was on the ship all along because they thought that he had just sent them. They didn't know he was actually there.
Yeah, and then we see this weird incestuous implied thing between Charlize and her dad, Guy Pearce, right?
Yeah,
This
there's
is
definitely
a
an Oedipus
weird
complex going on.
going on, and she's like, "I'm ready to kill you, Daddy."
And a rivalry going on between her brother android
Right.
and herself. So she's got issues for sure. It was interesting. The aliens were also in stasis in their temple catacomb ship.
That's right.
Like
They accidentally wake up some of the engineers. Yeah.
So they do it on purpose. They wake them up and they're like, "You made us, yay!" And the guy's like a total dick.
Oh yeah, he rips heads off.
Yeah. So it's like they found God and God just killed them. So that was great.
And then the Guy Pearce character says,
There is nothing.
so nihilism. Mm-hmm. So and there is a pretty consistent nihilistic theme in these movies. And by the way, if this is the whole point of this movie is nihilism, H.R. Giger's art is nihilistic, then why all this occult stuff, right? I mean, why all the demons if the world's just nihilistic? Because nihilism is demonic, duh.
Yeah. Well, Guy Pearce thought that the aliens could help him live forever, is what he was trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And so only the AI and one girl survive the whole thing.
Right. It's Numi Rapace. I get Rooney Mara and Numi Rapace mixed up, but it's Numi.
Yeah. So I thought.
What did you think of Prometheus?
I did not like the god guys.
Well, by the way, Prometheus, right? We are going to steal the power of the gods and overthrow God.
Yeah.
Right. That's Luciferian. That's Crowleyan, right?
Mm-hmm. I feel like you just said, like, I've seen all of these gags before. The face hugger, the baby in the tummy, Oh, but then
at the end of the Alien movies, you always get the new mutation that we've never seen.
There's one in this movie. It was the one with the head.
Now, I like the mutation in Alien Resurrection, right? That's a mix between Ripley and the alien. It's that giant baby, and he's like...
Oh, the white one?
He gets sucked out the
hole.
Like, that's great.
As he's getting sucked out, his eyes are like, how could you do this to me?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Crazy. We got one more, last one of the night.
E.T. was a big part of the alien mythos because my generation growing up as a kid in the 80s, E.T. was about introducing us to communion with aliens. All right. I think, again, go back to MJ-12, go back to the Roswell nonsense, go back to Project Blue Book, and all of these fake disinformation campaigns designed to promote the alien mythos. It was really preparing people my age and younger for this coming disclosure stuff, the revelation of alien life and the 180 days till the Pentagon releases all the UFO, blah, blah, blah. That's what all of this has been leading up to. Just like Great Reset is a big part of the long-term plan to bring in, this thing. This is part of that. That's why Klaus says the alien story is going to be part of what you're going to see in the near future. Mm-hmm. And what better than E.T.? Because E.T. is about pulling on your heartstrings. Right? This is not a destroy the world type of thing. This is a touching of your heart, pulling your heartstrings, and finding, communion with what is more or less a kind of I said in my book that he's more like a familiar spirit, because the types of things that E.T. does is what a familiar spirit's supposed to do.
He's an elemental. He's a gooey, gooey, gross, like ugly, smelly creature. And watching this as an adult was so different than, because when you're a kid, you think they're cute.
Well, he does free all the little frogs, so
yeah.
He's like hero to the Pepes. Like he's somebody should make an E.T. Pepe. That'd be funny.
But I wouldn't want my kid playing with this gooey alien who links up psychically with him.
Well, yeah, there's all these weird things about him being mystically linked to Elliot. And by the way, Elliot, E-L-L-I-O-T, Elliot, E-T. You see, they're mystically connected, symbolically connected. The names. This movie, a lot of people miss this, and this is very similar to Close Encounters, it's actually a movie about signs, symbols, semiotics, and communication, language. It's all about how we communicate, not just amongst one another, but to the beyond, right? So I will actually give some credit to the philosophy of this movie, that it is told from the vantage point of a kid. That's why you see so many camera angles are low down at the level of E.T. or a kid. It's all about E.T. learning our way of doing things, right? Like how would an alien, if he looked down upon what we do, it would look ridiculous, a lot of what we do, right? Like when Elliot is explaining the way toys work and the way money works and the way Reese's Pieces work, it's very interesting from a philosophical perspective because it's told from the vantage point of a kid and it wouldn't make sense, right? Because he says the shark eats the fish and he's got a toy shark, right? So
yeah.
everything is mixed up. It's all told from the vantage point of E.T. and from a kid. And so it's about communicating with different types of people, different types of beings, and it's about language. That's the totality of what Close Encounters is about too. It's semiotics.
Mm-hmm. So it starts out with these little guys in their cute little ship, and they're having some kind of biosphere project going on. Oh, and this was part of the day the Earth stood still too, when they were collecting specimens for Ark. They were getting animals and DNAs in the Ark, so this is another little project that these aliens.
And also, I mean, does Elliot channel E.T.? Like, does he? I mean, this is what happens in. This is what happens in Stranger Things, right? If you remember Stranger Things, it's hearkening to E.T. because they're playing Dungeons and Dragons and they invoke this. Whatever the Gorgon, whatever it's called in Stranger Things, right? The same thing going on here where they play D&D and this links somehow Elliot to E.T. So there's this mystical connection to the extent that when E.T. gets drunk, when he's drinking that Coors Boomer beer, right? Mm-hmm. Elliot gets drunk in class, and Elliot is motivated to start the frog revolution, right? Because E.T.'s like maybe they're turning the frogs gray, right? So he lets loose the frogs, the frog revolution, and then he kisses the girl, so he gets strength from this. So is this? And a lot of times you'll notice that the aliens seem to show up at puberty time, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they were playing Dungeons and Dragons at the beginning of the movie.
I just said that.
His brothers were. I know, and then you were talking about the moon symbolism.
Right. Well, there's planetary symbolism all throughout this movie. So the
of,
brother has a Jupiter on his shirt.
Yeah.
There's a Saturn. Right. There's a Saturn. There's Star Wars stuff all in the bedroom. That's classic Spielberg stuff. But in the classroom, the planets are all over the walls. The other thing that doesn't make sense in this movie is why do the government agents show up to Elliot's house wearing Apollo mission suits?
Yeah, that's really weird.
Does anybody have? I've never known or understood why this is the case. I mean, in the rest of the movie, they have hazmat suits. They show up in hazmat suits. So my only guess is that this is referencing, just the whole totality of the space mythos is BS, right?
I want to know why he was so spry in the forest in the beginning, and then he's like all lumbering and right. Sluggish.
Yeah, when he's running from Peter Coyote, he's like, darting around like a rabbit.
He's like a bunny.
Yeah, and then like when he's running around, he's like a incapacitated midget.
E.T.'s gross. I don't like him anymore. I changed my mind.
It is weird. It's a bizarre thing, and he connects through the third eye, just like Willie Strieber's Communion. He touches Elliot's third eye.
He has telekinetic healing powers and life-giving powers. Mm-hmm. There's also an element of Peter Pan in this movie, and the spirit world and fairies.
That's right. We're supposed to link E.T. to fairies because at one point when the mom. By the way, I was on a radio show with that woman, the mom. I forget her name, Dawn something. But I was on a radio show about 5 years ago, and she was on right after me. I wanted to ask her some ET questions, and I forgot. But she reads the story to Gertie about Peter Pan and about fairies. And Gertie's like, I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies. So we're supposed to be linking fairies and this to E.T. because, as Jamie pointed out, he makes them fly like Peter Pan does, right? And by the way, as Jamie pointed out, why didn't E.T. fly back to his ship at the beginning? Right?
Yeah.
Like, he has the ability to fly, but he doesn't fly back to the ship.
Because you said the
He's
movie
supposed
was
to be
about him making contact with Elliot and falling in love with the Earth Boy. And the Earth Boy says, I love you at the end, and his heart comes back. And then he comes out in a white robe with a glowy heart, looks like that Catholic Jesus Sacred Heart thing.
Oh, I never thought about E.T. as the Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Remember his heart's glowing? He's got a white robe and he's
I just didn't think about Sacred Heart. So the new Jesus is, again, aliens.
Yeah.
God is alien.
Yeah. So, and then there's a funny scene where they take him out as a Halloween ghost and he sees Yoda and recognizes him as another alien. So in the Spielberg universe is the same as the Star Wars. Let's see. The real mission was to connect with Elliot, and then there was that.
I didn't realize this until the last time I watched it. Right. So because you always watch it thinking E.T. was stranded.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just realized this last time. No. He is stranded, but he's there on a mission. His mission, right? E.T.'s mission is not to collect the frogs and the specimens like the rest of his crew. His mission is to connect with Elliot. Elliot is thus the chosen vessel for disclosure. That's the point of the story. I never got that until this last viewing.
Because he said, he chose me. He chose
Exactly.
me. Yeah.
So I watched this movie since the 80s and I never caught that.
Yeah.
By the way, Peter Coyote, who plays the Keys character because of his jingling keys, Solomon's Keys, by the way, Keys of Solomon, is a lifelong dedicated Marxist and I think Laurel Canyon figure. Yeah, I think Dave McGowan mentions Peter Coyote in Weird Scenes as a Marxist, quote unquote, Laurel Canyon character.
Well, he says at the end when E.T. is in his like powdered donut phase. And
that was my joke.
Elliot's on the bed.
Beignet.
Yeah.
Beignet tea.
He looks
Beignet
like
tea.
Donut hole. Peter Coyote says, him being here is a miracle. Remember?
Yeah, religious terminology used. Right, good point. And he brings things back to life. He resurrects. That's another point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, basically, Elliot and E.T. both die and resurrect.
Yes.
So there's this death, burial, resurrection motif, too, that I never really thought about until this last time watching it.
And he has healing powers because he's like, dude. And then at the end, he does the third eye. He's like, I'll be right here. So you've got all of these aliens touching kids' third eyes. I don't like it.
So the message of the alien stories is simply that the Bible was not true, right? The Bible was telling you that there's one true God and he created you and he's your savior, your redeemer. He came down, became incarnate to save you, to know you, to be united to your nature. And that's all not true. It's really the gods from the ancient world of the high places, right? The ancient aliens are the true God. They're our creators and we are their experiment, right? And that harmonizes perfectly with Darwinism, doesn't it? Well, yes, of course it does. All of the alien cults are an initiation into Darwinism.
I think half of what makes this movie so endearing was Drew Barrymore's character. Because E.T. is this amphibious, gross, like, snotty frog thing. And I just don't like him. But at the end, do you remember when he gets back into his ship and they take off? There's a new rainbow. So what do you think that symbolizes?
Well, again, mythology, we had elves.
Yeah.
Leprechauns, Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz. The Noahic Covenant. Right? What's the covenant with mankind? It's the rainbow in terms of Noah. Right? The Noahic Covenant, it's the rainbow. E.T., rainbow. So it is, again, rife with religious symbology, which you don't really pick up until you're more, sophisticated, you're older. you're able to pick that stuff up. And by the way, if you do want a deeper analysis of ET in terms of more of the esoteric and religious symbology, you can get a copy of Esoteric Hollywood 1 at Jason Analysis. There's a shop. If you go to jasonanalysis.com, there's a shop link, and then just click the link. Yes, all of the copies that you buy from us are signed copies. Now, sometimes Jamie's book is back ordered because it comes from Amazon, and so those aren't always signed. If we have them in stock, they're signed. But all of my copies of Esoteric Hollywood 1 and 2 are signed. And I have, in both books, lengthy sections analyzing the whole of the alien mythos and mythology. I've been saying for many, many years, this is a really important trend to watch and to not be duped and propagandized by. And so that's why, because this is being pushed so heavily in the news of late, they really ramped this stuff up. That's why we're covering a lot of this alien nonsense, jibber jabber, and that's why January is Alien Month at Jason House. We may have to extend it because there's so many alien movies. There's so much information in these alien films that you really have to just decode and pick apart constantly. There's just too many to do. So tonight we'll be doing another list. In fact, we may do another subscribers list. And I wasn't even expecting in the second part of this Tim Leary book, as I'm reading through it, I mean, he's saying all this stuff about the gods and the aliens. Now, he doesn't call it aliens yet, but he's basically saying that it's all the stuff that Leary is describing in the trip is the stuff that the gods, that the aliens, and the torture stuff that people who are, quote, abducted go through. Isn't that interesting? Again, notice the patterns, the motifs, they're the same. Anyway, let's go back to DC Customs. Can you analyze Fifth Element? Yes, I have notes on Fifth Element. Seen it many times. Multipass. We will eventually do Fifth Element. And yes, it should be part of the Alien series. Because if you recall, spoiler alert, Mila Jovovich's character is the Fifth Element. And she's like the goddess, right? She's the Fifth Element. So, and she's an alien, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yes, good point, DC. We will include Fifth Element in our esoteric alien analyses. Chonagald Zrump, $10. Here's $10 to send emails to ET on behalf of China. Many tidings. I hope that ET can understand what we... Well, no, I'm not going to say that. Seraphim, $5. 2 Corinthians 4. In whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of which do not believe. St. Irenaeus in Against Heresies, Book 3, Chapter 7, tells us that God is not Satan. Perhaps this is from the energies like Pharaoh's heart was hardened, your thoughts? The God of this world is, I do think, is Satan. So if that's what Against Heresies 3:7 says, then I would disagree with that. I think that God has, you could say he gives people over to delusions like Paul says in 2 Corinthians, but it's because they willed to do it. Just like with Pharaoh, the text in Exodus says both. It says that Pharaoh hardened his heart, and it later says God hardened his heart. God hardened Pharaoh's heart by giving him up further to his own desires. So there's a synergy that goes along with that we don't fully understand in terms of the compatibility between God's sovereignty and man's will. But in terms of the exegesis of the text in 2 Corinthians, I believe that it's saying that the God of this world, in the sense of Satan, right, ruling this fallen world, he has blinded the minds of those that don't believe. That makes the most exegetical sense to me. And sometimes the church fathers disagree on the exegesis of different specific passages. Alt Monarch is $5. There's a Soviet science fiction film called Guest from the Future. I'm going to write this down. Guest from the Future. By the way, yeah, we should do Solaris too, right? Solaris is, that's a kind of an alien film, right? We've done some Tarkovsky. Now, Stalker, which I finally got around to doing. Stalker is not an alien film, but if you know the weird ending of Stalker, it does touch on some of these themes of evolution, right? So maybe we should do Stalker. And Solaris and Rublev. We need to just do a Tarkovsky stream on its own, or maybe two of those. Now, again, Stalker's one of the most difficult films to decode. I mean, there's a lot of really heavy, difficult films out there. You could write a whole book on Stalker, right? I mean, people have, you go to Reddit and you can find just hundreds of pages of people trying to decode and dissect Stalker. I think I have the overall picture of what's going on in Stalker. I've only watched it all the way through once. It's difficult. It's 3 hours. It's dreary, dark, weird. It's good. It's great. But it's kind of like watching Inland Empire, right? It's like watching, 3 hours of David Lynch madness, and it can be decoded, but you have to watch it a lot, and it's hard to watch it a lot. So Stalker is going to require multiple more viewings. I took about 5 or 6 pages of written notes on it, so that'll be fun to decode. I also have a whole bunch of notes on Rublev. That's a really long one too. And in the past, I have to say, I've not liked Solaris. I've given it multiple tries. I just don't care for it. But I will, for the sake of a Rublev stream, for the sake of a Tarkovsky stream, complete Solaris. So, you want to read a couple?
Where are we? The Soviet?
Big Bala.
Big Baller, $3. Does God know the future?
Yes, God is omniscient. So he knows all facts and has known all facts from all eternity. And multiple texts where you could see that. I mean, we were just going through the Gospel of John, and I mean, within a few chapters, John 3 or 4, right? Jesus knows the hearts of all men. So you can't know the hearts of all men if you're not omniscient. So also a great deity of Christ proof text, by the way. Go ahead.
Bert, $5. No. Thanks, Jay and Jamie.
Thank you, Bert.
Panocostros, $3. Hi, Jay. Hi, Jamie. Got any funny predictions for 2021? Fake alien invasion. I think GoArch will add the aliens to the liturgical... What does it say? Commemoration.
Yeah, so the aliens will be on the GoArch calendar pretty soon. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know if we can say for sure that they're going to... I mean, what's 180 days? I mean, we'll know then, right? I don't know if they're going to do a fake alien invasion in 2021, but
maybe
they're ready. They're going to prep us and see if we're ready for it.
They always put these like barometers of your reaction, and if people go for it, they can pull it back or keep on going with it.
Go ahead. Vibranium.
Is Prometheus an inversion of the birth of Christ? I'm pretty sure they land on that planet on Christmas. Yep. The main chick is barren. Yeah. AI. David tells her she's with child, and then she gives birth to the alien thing. WTF, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that alien thing at the end melds with the engineer.
Yeah.
And so it's 3 creatures giving birth to that.
It's a unholy trinity.
Right.
Good point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job, Vibranium. I never even noticed that inversion of Christianity there. Excellent. Yeah. By the way, there is Christian symbolism inverted with, if you remember, the temple where they appear to worship the xenomorphs. It's a cruciform xenomorph. Mm-hmm. There's a skull mountain like Golgotha. That's what it means. Mm-hmm. So that's good. And Prometheus is an image of Satan.
Mm-hmm. Stinky Linky 1K EOI has donated $3. Have you covered the Short Circuit movies with Johnny Five Robot for the man-machine AI things? It was like a campy ex machina for the 80s.
Yeah, we've seen it and cracked up at it, right?
Stephanie.
Dude, we watched Short Circuit 2. Remember?
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
We saw the first one, and it was so dumb, we had to watch the second one.
No, we watched the trailer and didn't watch the second one.
Are you sure? Which one has the fembot in it that was a servant bot? It was like a servant bot dressed as a maid. If that's 2, then we didn't.
I mean, Johnny Five dresses up like Stephanie's maid in the scene. Anyway, we'll eventually kind of revisit some 80s stuff, and we'll throw maybe we'll do an AI bots movie from 80s, 70s, and 80s. There's a bunch of those, and
AI has a lot in it. That movie with Jude Law.
It's in my book, yeah.
I know.
So yeah, we'll try to do a throwback to some of those 80s, and we'll do a Short Circuit, which is hilarious for how bad it is. But all right, thank you guys. Super duper cool super chats. Look at that, $3. Bildung Roman. He says for $3, on the subject of aliens, have you seen Leonard Nimoy's In Search Of? I have not. Let's write that down because we are going to be covering some of the alien documentaries. We're going to do the Stan Romanek. I've already done Bob Lazar's nonsense. So we're going to do the Stan Romanek. We're going to do Australian Skies, and we're going to do this one that you mentioned here. We'll definitely watch that. I'm sure there's other alien documentaries that you think are important. And we'll just do a whole episode like dissecting these goofy documentaries, right? If you have any recommendations, guys, I'll go ahead and let you put it in the chat now. Put in some of the alien documentary films that are important. There's a whole bunch of these. I can't even think of all of them. But what do you think? Anybody? Alien documentaries. Again, we got this Leonard Nimoy one. We got the Disney one. Jamie did the whole Disney the documentary on Disney UFO conference.
Need to watch Alien Mountain. What's it called? Escape to Witch Mountain.
Escape from Witch Mountain, but that's not a documentary. But yeah, so we will have more alien movies. We'll probably do Escape from Witch Mountain, which is bizarre. The Knowing. Yeah, we talked about putting The Knowing. Now I've done The Knowing in my Nick Cage streams, but yeah, we could definitely throw The Knowing in there because it's about Kabbalism, right? It's Kabbalistic numerology and aliens. Come on. Rapture. Fourth Kind. I did Fourth Kind. I think in the stream that I linked earlier, right? So this is like the third or fourth alien show we've done. Maybe I can remember to dig up all the previous alien streams. Or I'll relink those in the community tab. That'd be easier probably. But all right. Greer. Can you put down the Greer, Stephen Greer? I know he's got documentaries. Hell, we could interview Jay Widener. Widener's all about alien documentaries. So, but yeah, I do not believe, as you guys know, in the alien jibber jabber. So that's what we're doing here is dissecting it. Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. I did Close Encounters. Is there a documentary called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind? You want to put down Project Blue Book documentary? I have a long analysis of the box. One of my actually more popular written analyses is my analysis of the box. But do add the box. That is a good alien movie. A lot of people hate on the box. I actually liked it. I thought it was, yeah, it's a lot of homage to Kubrick, but it didn't bug me. And, what happened to Richard Kelly, by the way? You get Donnie Darko, you get the box, and then Southland Tales, and then where'd he go? I don't know. But, all right, thanks, guys. Much appreciated.